Namaste, dear students. First of all, I want to welcome you to our English virtual class of grade 8. So, you have to be ready with your English textbook, an exercise book, and a pen or a pencil. If you haven't taken them out, please take them out. Have you taken them out? Very good. Today, we are going to learn something in our Unit 5. Dear students, first of all, I want to remind you what we learned in Unit 5. Say, in Unit 5, we learned about the festival. That is, can you tell me? Yes, you are right. That is Holi festival. Then we did the exercises, based on Holi festival. Then again, you have to tell me what we learned in grammar in this unit. Yes, you are right. We learned some prepositions, use of some prepositions. Okay. Again, we did some activities for listening skill. And today, undoubtedly, we are going to do some activities for our speaking skill. So for it, you have to be ready with your exercise book, a pen or a pencil, and English textbook. So you have to turn to the pages of your textbook, that is Unit 5. So we are going to do something for our speaking skill in our today's class. So are you ready for it? Well, first of all, I want to show you some pictures. You have to look at the pictures and you have to make a guess. And then only you will know what we are going to learn today in our speaking skill. Is that all right? Very good. Now, look at the pictures below and guess what they are thinking about. You also please read with me, okay? You have to develop your reading habit. So what's written here? Yes, it is look at the pictures below and guess what they are thinking about. So now I am going to show you the pictures. The first picture. Oh, see, the boy is sitting, the man is sitting on the sofa and he is thinking something. So you have to just guess what he is thinking. Don't worry. If your guess is wrong, it doesn't matter. Okay? It is just guessing. Another picture I want to show you. That is, look at. Okay? The man is walking, In the first picture, the man is sitting and thinking. And in the second picture, the man is walking. Okay? One more picture I want to show you. Yes. See, there is a man near a car. And what he may be thinking? You have to just guess. So can you tell me what the man in the first picture is thinking about? Well, so your guess may be, let me show you. See, the man is still thinking and I have written it. So there can be your another guess, okay? See, how about starting a new business? Okay, so I have just guessed this man may be thinking about this one. This is how about starting a new business? Okay, so another picture we have, the man is walking. So what's your guess? You just tell me, please. Well, now I guess like this. See, my guess is it's better to continue walking. Okay, it's better. See, here also, how about starting a new business? And in the second sentence, for the second picture, it's better to continue walking. Okay, now we have one more picture that I have already shown you. And the picture is, yes, the man near the car. And what he may be thinking here? See, I guess like this. why don't I call a mechanic? Okay, maybe the car is not working, and that's why he is just guessing. I am just guessing. He just says, why don't I call a mechanic to repair the car? Dear students, this is just a guess, okay? And here from the structures also, I think you might have guessed what we are going to learn today in our speaking skill. So I have already told you that how about starting, it's better to continue, why don't I call, so we have some structures, and that is what you will know later, okay? So for it, I want to show you another picture. See, today we are going to learn, yes, what's written here? Giving advice or suggestion. For example, if I am in a trouble, for example, let's say I am sick, okay? So at that time, you meet me, and what suggestion, what advice do you give me? How do you give me advice? How do you give me suggestion? We are going to learn. We are going to learn to give advice or suggestion in English. So you have to be very careful. You have to be very alert and watch me and listen to me very carefully. Okay? Well, if so, now, see, I just like to give you some situations first, and you just try to give advice or suggestion, and then we will practice some structures that we use to give advice or suggestion in English language. Okay? So first of all, I just like to give you a situation. See, there is a bed and a woman is lying in the bed, So it means there is a thermometer also. So it means she is sick. So she says, see, I am sick. Okay, I am sick. Now, another person comes there to meet her. And at that time, you guess, what does this boy, what does this man say, to this woman when she is sick? You also think and you also speak, how do you give an advice or how do you give a suggestion to this woman? Can you please try it? So what did you? Okay, some of you are right and some of you may not. So your advice, your suggestion should be like this. So it is, let's say again, what can be here? Yes, it is, how about going to see a doctor? Suppose if we are sick, then we have to go to meet a doctor. We have to visit a doctor, and the doctor will check us, okay? And then we will use medicines. So the boy gives here advice, how about going to see a doctor? So it means he says you should go to see a doctor. Okay, this is a way of giving advice in English. So what is the structure here? Tell me. Yes, it is how about going to. So it means how about going to. Okay, in our first picture also I gave you this structure. There was how about starting a new business, starting. So it means you have to understand there should be how about, then we need present participle form, or simply you can understand as verb form. Okay, we have to use how about plus present participle, and then to plus infinitive, or you can simply understand as verb 1. So this is one of the structures to give advice or suggestion. Okay, so you shouldn't forget, and you can note it down in your exercise book. Like this, we are going to learn some structures. Okay, so are you ready for it? Now again, I want to show you another picture. You can see there is a boy and he looks like a student, yeah? And you can see his notebook or paper. Everywhere it is cross mark, cross sign, means he is very poor in study. Okay, that's why he says, what does he say? I'm weak in study. So if someone says, I am weak in study, then how do you advise? How do you suggest? Please you try. Well, now your suggestion, your advice can be like this. See, this girl finds him, looks at him, okay, and then she finds he is poor in study. So he also says, I am weak in study. Now this girl is suggesting, this girl is advising, saying, using these structures. So what are the structures? Let's see. One we have already used, that is how about, okay. So I want to show you some others. See, number one, if I were you, I would study hard. See, this is another structure we use to give advice, we use to give suggestion. So you also repeat with me, you also read with me, okay. It is, if I were you, I would study hard. If I were you, I would study hard. So once again, please. If I were you, I would study hard. Now another structure I want to show you. Why don't you study hard? So once again you have to tell it. Let's repeat sometimes. Why don't you study hard? Another structure. Once again, why don't you study hard? So once you repeat number one again. If I were you, I would study hard. So once again, if I were you, I would study hard. Then number two, why don't you study hard? Please repeat it once again. Why don't you study hard? It is another structure, okay. So you have to use if I were you, past tense here, and here also you have to use would, should, could plus infinitive. Later on we'll discuss. I'll write it on the board, okay, and you will write it down in your exercise book. So I want to show you again another structure that we use to give advice or to give suggestion. So can you guess another structure? You just tell me. Well, now you can check whether you are right or wrong. Yes, it is. You should study hard. See, repeat it. You should study hard. So what's written here? You should study hard. It means so far we have used three structures. One is, if I were you, I would study hard. Why don't you study hard? You should study hard. And if you remember the previous one that we used, that is how about plus present participle. So far 4 structures, okay. Not only this much, I want to show you some more. And the next structure is, it's better to study hard. So repeat it. It's better to study hard. Another structure. Once again, what is written here? It's better to study hard. So if you say, if I were you, I would study hard. Or if you say, why don't you study hard? Or if you say, you should study hard. Or if you say, it's better to study hard, it means you are giving an advice. You are giving a suggestion to a person. We can use these structures. Now, I want to show you one more structure. So can you guess what that structure is to give advice and suggestion? Well, that structure you can check is, you had better study hard. This is another structure we use to give advice or to give suggestion. So what is it? Please repeat. You had better study hard. Again, please. You had better study hard. So from these sentences, dear students, we have to find out the structures that we use to give advice or suggestion in English language. Okay. So in your daily communication, if you want to give advice or suggestion, you can use any one of the structures from this list. Okay. So let's try to find out. Okay. So structure, structures, structures for giving, giving, giving advice, advice or suggestion, suggestion, suggestion. So in our previous picture, in the first picture, you learned one structure. So can you tell me what's that? So now we have to make structure ourselves, okay? So the first structure is HOW, how about, then, yes, we have to make a structure, how about, plus present participle, Present, present participle, Particle, participle plus dot dot dot. Or, dear students, if you are confused with this term present participle, it means simply you can understand as verb 4. Okay, so I just like to write it down in the brackets, but as the students of English language, we have to use the correct term, that is present participle. So you have to practice to say present participle. And this buffer is written just for your understanding, but it's better not to use this term. Okay, it is just for our understanding. So present participle plus dot dot dot, one structure. For example, in the first picture, we said, how about starting a new business? Okay, how about going to see a doctor? So one structure. Like this, looking at this number 1 here again, if I were you, I would study hard. Can you tell me the structure? You just try to tell me, please. Yes, it is. Let's say if plus subject, okay? I is subject. Then you have to use past form, where. Subject plus WERE, where. You. Then we have to use comma, okay? Plus, and again we need subject, that is generally I, we use here. And you have to use plus would, or sometimes you can use there could, or sometimes you can there should. Okay, then you have to use infinitive form of the verb. Do you know what is infinitive? Simply you say verb 1, okay? So correct form is infinitive, INFINITIVE, infinitive plus dot dot dot. You can use other necessary words. So this second structure is if plus subject plus were you plus subject plus would or could or should plus infinitive. Infinitive means it is simply verb 1. So actually we should not use this term, but just for your understanding, I want to write down here verb 1, okay? Otherwise you have to practice to say infinitive form of the verbs, all right? See, so far we have made structures of 2 structures to give advice. Now third structure. Can you tell me the third structure looking at this one? See, why don't you study hard? So another structure we have is why, D-O-N-T, don't, Y-O-U-U, why don't you? Then what do I write here? Yes, you are right. That is infinitive plus INFINITIVE, infinitive plus dot dot dot. So again here infinitive means if you are confused, then it is just verb 1. So practice saying infinitive. Practice saying present participle. Okay? So another structure we have is why don't you plus infinitive plus dot dot dot. Other necessary words you can write down here. Okay? So we have 3 structures. Now we are going to write down another structure. Looking at this one, you just look at it. You should study hard. Again, it is very simple, okay? So you have to write down subject, and generally subject is you here. Then SHOULD, should, plus after should what do we have to write for our structure? Yes, you are right. That is infinitive again. INFINITIVE, infinitive plus dot dot dot. Okay. So another structure we have is you should plus infinitive plus necessary words. So in our example, we have you should study hard. You should study hard. Again, two more structures we are left to write down here. So number 5. Next structure, you just look at and tell me it's better to study hard. So what should I write here for another structure? Well, that is it's. It is, okay? It's. Then what should I write here, dear students? You just tell me. Fine, that is better. B-E-T-T-E-R, better. It's better. Then we have to use to infinitive. To plus infinitive. I-N-F-I-N-I-T-I-V-E. Infinitive plus dot dot dot. Another structure. It is better to plus infinitive. See, in our example here, it's better to study hard. Study is infinitive, and with this one we have to use to also. So it's better to plus infinitive. Now one more structure we are going to write down, and at the same time I hope you might have written these structures in your exercise book. Have you? Very good. Now number 6. So look at this sentence and you tell me the structure. You had better study hard. Now what first? Subject, and generally we use you, okay, because we give advice to the listener, second person. That's why we write you. Then in our structure we have, yes, that is had better. H-A-D, had, B-E-T-T-E-R, better. Had better. Then do we have to write to infinitive or bare infinitive? Yes, we are not allowed to use to. We have to write down only infinitive. So plus I-N-F-I-N-I-T-I-V-E, infinitive plus dot dot dot. See, these are the structures. Today we are practicing to give advice, to give, let's say, suggestion. So once I just like to repeat it, you just write it down in your exercise book if you haven't finished, and then we will do some practices, okay? See, number 1, how about plus present participle? So for example, you can write down yourself based on the structure, okay? How about plus present participle? Based on the structure, you have to write down example yourselves. And later on I'll ask you, you have to tell me, okay? Please write it down. Have you finished writing? Very good. Now number 2, if plus subject plus where plus where you plus subject plus would or could or should plus infinitive. Now based on this structure, again you have to write an example yourselves. Please write it down. Are you writing? Very good. Good. I hope you have finished writing. Now number 3. We have why don't you plus infinitive. So based on this structure, again you have to write one example yourselves, okay? Why don't you plus infinitive. So are you writing? Good. Have you finished? Fine. Now number 4. You should plus infinitive. So again you have to write down another example for this structure, because I have already shown you the structures, and based on that one I have already shown you the examples. Based on the examples we have written these structures, and again based on these structures you are writing your own examples, very interesting. So number 4, you should plus infinitive. Finished? Very good. Now number 5, it's better to plus infinitive. So please write another example for this structure. It's better to plus infinitive. Finished? Well done. Now the last structure we have for today's class is you plus had better plus infinitive. So again write one more example For this structure, you had better plus infinitive. Are you writing? Have you finished? Very good. Do you find it's very easy? Now onwards, when you want to give advice, now onwards, when you want to give suggestion, you have to use these structures. You have to use any of these structures in our daily communication. Okay? So it's very easy, very interesting. Now, after this, I want to make you practice whether you can use these structures correctly or not. So what's written here? Look at the following example and complete the following dialogues. First of all, I want to show you an example, and based on that example, I'll give you some situations, and for that situations, you have to compose a dialogue. Okay? So let me show you. So the first example I want to show you. See, there is Muna, and Muna says, my parents are out tonight. Okay? What does she say? You just read it. Muna says, my parents are out tonight. See, and another person speaks here, Samjana. Samjana says, how about coming for a meal with me? It means Samjana says, if your parents go out tonight, then you can come with me to have meal, you know. So she uses this structure here. How about plus present participle? See, do you find it? Did we write it? Yes, very easy, no? See, how about coming? How about plus present participle while suggesting, while advising, you know. So, how about coming for a meal with me? And now, again, another person speaks here, and the person is, this example is from your textbook, okay? Bimala, if I were you, I would go to a hotel for dinner. See, here is another structure. If I were you, I would go to a hotel for dinner. See, another structure. So, if your parents are out, then Samjana says that you can come to my house to have meal with me. And Bimala says, let's go out to a hotel. So, this is another advice, okay? So, but here the structures are used that we have already learnt, and the structures are how about plus present participle, and if plus subject plus past tense where plus again you can write object, and subject plus would plus infinitive. Okay, this is what we have practiced. So like this you have to let's say complete the dialogue. Okay, now you be ready. Okay, so you can tell me, see what's written here. Suntali, I am not prepared for the exam. So what does she say? I am not prepared for the exam. Now there is another friend, Saraswati. So what do you guess she says? Okay, and she has to say in a structure, correct structure. She can use any structures from those 6 structures here to give advice or suggestion. And here Manisha says, if I were you, I would do the best as I could. So your job is to advise. Suppose you are Saraswati and you are giving advice to Suntali. So how do you say? Please tell me. How do you say? Once again, please tell me loudly. I want to listen to you. Well done. See, your advice may be, how about studying more? Okay. Again, it is used how about plus present participle. In place of how about studying more, you can write down, if I were you, I would study more. Or you can use, why don't you study more? Or you can use the structure, you should study more. Or you can use the structure, you had better study more. You can use any of the structures that we have learnt. Okay, is that clear to you? Very good, dear students. Now again I want to show you another situation for you. Now Mandari says, you also read with me, I like to play football, but my parents don't let me. Okay, Mandari likes to play football. This is a problem for her, okay, situation, and her parents don't allow her to go to play football. So at that time, you have to advise her. You have to give advice. You have to suggest her. Now, Nita suggests like this. How about asking them? Okay, taking permission. Now, Rita. So you can use one of the structures that we have learned to advise. So it can be, please tell me, loudly please. Tell me once again. I want to listen to you. Well, you can use any one of the structures. And here I use, if I were you, I would ask them. So you can write down, why don't you ask them? You should ask them. You had better ask them. You can use any of the structures. Okay? So if I were you, I would ask them. So is it clear to you? Well, now, if so, let's practice more. I want to give you some situations and you have to give advice. You have to give suggestion. Okay? Are you ready? Very interesting, isn't it? Well, now the situation for you is, yes, now number A, you have lost your pencil. See, you have lost your pencil. Now, how do you advise your friend, for example? So you can use any one structure, okay? So you can advise like this. How about searching it? See, your friend has lost his or her pencil, and at that time you can advise like this. How about searching it? Okay? So you can use any structure. I have already told you. Why don't you search it? You should search it. You had better search it. It's better to search it. You can use any structure. Okay? So I have used how about searching it. Is it clear? Now another situation for you. It's raining and you do not have an umbrella. See, it's raining outside and you don't have umbrella. So you have to advise. You have to suggest. How do you? Yes, again, we have to use one of the structures from those 6 structures. Okay? Your advice may be like this. If I were you, I would not go out. Okay? If it's raining and if you don't have umbrella. If I were you, I would not go out. Or you can say, why don't you stay inside? Or you should stay inside. Or you had better stay inside. You can use any structure here. So just for practicing, in number A, I use one structure, and for number B situation, I use another structure, so that we can practice all the structures that we have learnt today. Now, another situation for you. You can't solve mathematical problems. See, you can't solve mathematical problems. Then, what do you do? Give advice. Any structure you can use that we have learned. So your advice, maybe you just tell me, yes, it is like this. Why don't you ask your teacher? Okay, you can use any structure. How about asking your teacher? If I were you, I would ask my teacher. Okay, that is like this. Why don't you ask your teacher? Now another structure I want to show you. You have no money to go on an educational tour. Your school is taking you to an educational tour, okay? But you don't have money, but you have interest to go. What do you do? Give advice. So how do you give? Yes, your advice may be, you should ask your parents, okay? And you can use any of the structures again. Now another situation I just like to give you. You want to make new friends, okay? You want to make new friends. So how do you advise? Use any one of the structures. Now have you written? You just tell me please. Once again loudly, I want to listen to it. Yes, you can use any one of the structures. So it can be, it's better to introduce with them. or you can write down how about introducing with them, or you can write down if I were you I would introduce with them, or you can let's say write down why don't you introduce with them, or you can write down you should introduce with them. Any one of the structures you can use. Okay, you had better introduce with them. This is how you have to give advice or suggestion to a person. Is it clear to you? Very good. If so, dear students, I want to give you a home assignment. Do you enjoy doing home assignment? Yes, surely, yeah, because it makes us practice. So we must regularly do our home assignment. And today's home assignment is, you know already, it is about giving advice or suggestion. See, instruction, give advice or suggestion to the following situations. So these are the situations for you, and you have to give advice using the structures that we have learnt in our today's class. Okay, see, number one, your friend is sick, one situation. Another situation, your puppy is barking. Okay, another situation, it's very cold and your friend is shaking his or her body, you know. Another is your brother cannot speak English fluently. And the last one, your sister is hungry and she wants to eat something. So for these situations, you have to give advice or suggestion using one of the correct structures. Is it clear? Dear students, I hope you enjoyed our today's class, and I also hope that you might have better understood giving advice or suggestion in English. So this much for today. Keep these structures practicing. See you next time. Have a wonderful time. Goodbye.